it's Crystal of Oddly Endearing here, and today I am talking to Megan of the Cosmic Cottage. Hi, Megan. How are you out there in South Carolina?
Hello, we're doing good.
Doing good. It looks beautiful there.
It is in the 70s today and the sun's out. We've had a lot of rain, so this is a welcome change.
Oh, yeah, we've had so much rain here in Atlanta. I thought we were drowning. Yeah. So I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about mid-century modern because I call you the queen of mid-century modern because you have the touch. I don't know how you do it, but you find all of the most amazing items, and I know everyone's thinking the same thing. So
Oh,
I want to know when and how you fell in love with mid-century modern.
um, I've always liked old stuff. I've really thought about it a lot, and I think it comes a lot from. I spent a lot of time with my grandmother and my great aunts and uncles. My mom was the only child, so her 10 aunts and uncles were like my aunts and uncles. So all of our Christmas vacations, summers, all that stuff was spent with them, and that's just what their house was. I mean, even in the 90s and the 2000s, because it's just such quality. There was never any need to replace it. It never wore out, and it was a generation that you didn't replace unless it was needed.
Oh, absolutely. I have a similar story. I grew up in my grandparents' house, and there was, wood paneling as far as the eye could see.
Exactly. And it's just something that I've always been drawn to. I guess it just takes me to a fun, simpler, happier time. Less stress, being a kid, running around. Oh,
Absolutely. And it's homey. It's comfortable and that's what you want it to be. That's how I feel every time I see pictures of your home. I'm like, I could just get cozy up in there and just be so comfortable. You've done a great job.
thank you so much.
So, and I also wanted to know because are you a full-time seller now?
I am.
I guess
I've been doing full time, maybe my time perception's the worst, maybe 8 to 10 months. I gave up the 8 to 5 grind and just jumped both feet in and said, sink or swim, let's do it.
absolutely. I did the same thing. So what did
Yeah.
you do before selling?
I am actually a state licensed insurance appraiser, collision insurance. So I got in that industry, I think, like 1999. Started working at a body shop and just started working my way up through the ranks and became an estimator, and then got state licensed and opened my own little firm and did it that route for a few years. And so if you wrecked your car, I came out to your house and wrote the estimate and sent it to the insurance company.
So what made what was the inspiration for the leap?
Ugh, who wants to work on wrecked cars? I mean, it's a huge stress level. You're dealing with people who are already upset because their car's wrecked. And a lot of times you're the first person that they get face to face with. So you get the brunt of it a lot. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just a dream to do your own thing and to do something you love. And that was just a means of income. It wasn't a passion or love or anything like that. So
That's so
this,
wonderful. I'm glad you're on your path now.
me too. Me too. It feels right. It feels natural. I mean, you know as well as anybody else how hard selling on Instagram can be, and the challenges and the hustle and the 24/7. I mean, 11 o'clock at night, you're getting a message from someone in California wanting a shipping quote or wanting to know a measurement or whatever. So you never get to turn it off. It's a lot of work, but 99% of the time, it doesn't feel like work because it is something that you really care about.
Yes, I feel the exact same way. I never people always ask me, "Oh, what's your hobby?" And I'm like, "What's a hobby?" Yeah, it's like, "What do you do for fun?" I'm like, "I run my business. It's wonderful."
Right? I mean, it has its pros and cons, but we all know it could be a lot worse. And it is something that we love to do to save the vintage and get it back out there for people to appreciate and love. So, as much as we do.
Yeah, so people always ask me where I came up with my name, so I really want to know where the Cosmic Cottage comes from.
We moved we downsized from a 2,800 square foot home to a 954 square foot trailer about quarter a mile from the ocean. And I was a little embarrassed of living in a trailer because of the stigma and stereotypes, maybe. But so I wouldn't call it a trailer. I started calling it the cottage. And so then we named the house the Cosmic Cottage. So then when I got into this, it just seemed natural. I liked it. I thought it was catchy and suiting. I thought it was a good name. So I just rolled with it for the business too.
Absolutely. I do the same thing sometimes when like words make me uncomfortable, come up with another word. Like when I first moved in with my husband when we were just dating, uh I wanted to pay rent, but I didn't want to say I was paying him rent, so I'd be like, "Oh, I'm paying you cupcakes." Like it just come with some like silly word.
Hey,
That's
that's
so
cute.
comfortable. Yeah, I
Wow.
understand that. Like just coming up with silly things to say, but it works, and it's awesome that you like identify with that now.
About our home's very nice, and there's nothing wrong with living in a trailer, of course. Um, but yeah, I just like the word cottage better, so that's where it came from.
That's so cool. Yeah, I lived in a trailer when I was younger, when I was a kid for a few years, and man, was I so in my head about it. But there's nothing wrong with it, especially when you can live so freaking close to the beach.
Right. I mean, that's what I always told Rusty. I grew up in one too for a few years, and it was horrible. I have four sisters, so there were seven of us in a 3 bedroom single wide. I mean, we had homemade 2x4 bunk beds that my dad made, against the walls, and it was embarrassing to have friends over and that kind of thing, especially when you're young like that. But so I'd always told Rusty I would never live in a trailer unless it was on the beach. So here we are.
Yeah,
Never thought that was the fruition, but here we are.
it's worked out. Just yeah,
Yeah. And
I guess
I love my little trailer.
yes, yeah, you gotta love it. So let me see. I have a list of questions and ideas of things I wanted to ask you. So, of all the things you've ever found, what was your favorite piece?
Oh, that's so hard. I mean, I have been junking since, I don't know. I mean, it seems like forever. I have a lot of pieces that I sold and regret. Right now, I guess my favorite piece is probably my boat bar.
Yeah, that is wonderful. It has to take up a lot of space, though, knowing that how small.
It does, and that's obviously something I fight with in a 900 square foot home, but I always seem to make room for it because it's pretty spectacular.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I don't know how you do it. How do you store your inventory?
I've got a little shed in the yard that I keep most of it in.
Yeah.
It's always spilling into the house, though. It drives my husband crazy, but he just knows it's part of it, and he does good. I mean, he doesn't give me too much hell about it, but every now and then I can see his face, and it's like, okay, I really need to get the stuff out to the shed because they'll start closing in on you, and it gets crazy.
Yeah,
But
I understand completely. At my old house, I had this teeny tiny room that I started in, and by the time we moved, we had to move because I had like the whole downstairs. So
absolutely.
fortunately, this new house has a basement. So the rule is I got to keep everything in the basement.
Well, and I have a spare bedroom that is for guests and it stays full. I mean, if we find out we're having company, his daughter comes for the weekend or something, it's mad panic for me to get everything out of the bedroom and out in my building. Then I can't get in my building. And it's just like,
I know.
so I got to get rid of some stuff.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. So what is, you found tons and tons of awesome pieces. Do you have a white whale, a piece that you just haven't not yet found?
Kind of like a holy grail, I
Yeah.
guess. Probably Pyrex diamonds. That's been one of mine that I've been on the hunt for probably about 5, 6 years. Never seen one in person. Probably never will. But you never know. I never thought I'd find an inflatable mid-century ottoman either, and boom, two in 2 weeks. So you never know. You just got to keep the hope up that it's going to be put in your path at some point.
Yes, absolutely. I are you a Pyrex fanatic?
I'm coming down off of it a little bit. I used to be really big into it, but as it got more popular, it started getting a little more out of reach, I think, for regular collectors like myself. I mean, I'm not going to pay $100 for a bowl to sit on my counter to look at. I mean, a lot of people do, and that's fine. I'm not knocking it. I just can't do that because I have to have the faith that I'm going to come across it in Goodwill for $2.99.
Yes. I mean, it's the hunt too, you know. Like once you find it, you're gonna be like, yay! But then you're gonna be like, oh, it's over.
I do have one that I paid a pretty penny for. And when I received it in the mail, the gratification just was not even close to the same as finding it in the wild. I felt like I cheated the system somehow.
I understand completely.
Yeah,
So
that's the fun part.
absolutely. So speaking of the hunt, where and when are your favorite places to source? Because you're clearly sourcing in the right places.
I, I mean, our community being here at the beach, there's a lot of retired people that moved down here from up north, and our Goodwills, our Salvation Armies. I mean, they're just stocked pretty well, and with that same on the same end of it, because that's the majority of our town, there aren't a lot of people like myself who are out picking and getting it. So I feel fortunate, I guess, that there's, I mean, it's rare that I walk out of Goodwill without something, you know.
That's
And
awesome.
have one that's about 2 miles north of me and one that's about 3 miles south. And I hit those daily. I hit the Salvation Army in between. Every Saturday morning, I'm up and hitting the yard sales, whether it's raining, whether it's cold, whatever, it's got to be done. Estate sales aren't real huge down here like I see online in other areas. You know, I see some sellers, they're 2 hours in advance with their ticket and they're first in line. And it's just not like that here. Here you just show up and go in and do what you do, you know. But there aren't as many, I don't feel like, as there. I don't know if it's a southern thing versus other, if it's a regional thing, maybe the families, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I hit every yard sale that pops up. I mean, every estate sale that pops up, I make sure I'm there.
Nice. We don't really, it's weird. We don't have a whole lot of yard sales in Atlanta. We have
Right.
tons of estate sales though. And I can't figure it out because some days I'll go estate sailing and there'll be nobody there. It'll be a Saturday morning, Friday morning, nobody there. I can get in and out no problem. Other times I
Right.
don't even get into the neighborhood because I see that there's cars just lined all the way down. If it's lined up like that, I'm like, nope, there's nothing in there for me. I'm
And another thing that's good here too with the older community is there's a lot of retirement communities in here, in my area. So like last weekend, I know a lot of my viewers saw that I was at a big community sale, and that's awesome. It's in their clubhouse and it's 200 plus senior citizens that are having one yard sale. And, to me, that's just like honey hole,
right.